I was in western Louisiana at the time. And no job. I was living in a trailer, and the money was running out. And I looked at how much money I had left over, and I had exactly enough money to get to Houston, Texas. As I had heard before that in Houston they have a certain amount of services and infrastructure set up. And if you're going to be homeless, big cities have, shelters, charities. So I hopped on the Greyhound and got off the Greyhound in downtown Houston and began my career as a homeless man. In a way, it was exciting, but for the most part, I was trying not to feel anything. Just kind of putting one foot in front of the other.
I had lost my job. I've got 24 years experience as a vice president of sales and marketing. We thought it was a good time to start a business. We were not trying to be Mother Teresa when we started this. It evolved into what it evolved into. The original thing was we needed a business concept, we needed a white paper, we needed something referenceable. And we came up with this idea, and Sean said, if we're doing pro bono, let's help somebody.
We went to the first corner that I was aware there were homeless people under that I've seen before on Highway 6 and I-10.
Tell us your full name.
Timothy Dale Edwards.
And Timothy, how long have you been on the street?
Almost 5 years now.
And we came up to him and started talking to the guys there, and we told him that we had this idea, we're gonna start a website, and using the internet, we're gonna try to see what we can do to help someone get off the street.
We've had lots of people come out that were gonna help us, right? And we didn't have a lot of hope because we tried lots of different things to get off the street. And then they came and they proposed this idea. And I'm like, okay. So what are you gonna call this website? And Sean kind of paused for a minute. He's like, it's Pimp This Bum. And I'm like, I just busted out laughing. And all of us under the bridge, we just start laughing. I just paused just for a moment in my head, and I'm like, well, this might be it. This might be the way. This might be the way that God makes.
Website is offering one homeless man some hope. He's become a viral video sensation.
PimpThisBum.com. And Tim Edwards is the homeless man who is featured
and Mike
on
and
the
Melinda,
site.
a local father-son team created the website. It's been up and running for just a couple of days now, and already there are more than 30,000 hits from around the globe. Everyone's logging on to meet Tim.
At least one homeless man in Houston has a brand new job.
KPRC Local 2 reporter Joel Eisenbaum now with a look at this bizarre proposition that we know is going to get some buzz, Joel.
That's a good way to explain it. Met an interesting guy tonight. He's about my age, doesn't like to talk about why he's homeless, but he sleeps under an overpass most nights. Still, he's got something he didn't have yesterday, and that's hope.
This might be an avenue off the streets. This might be a way that I can climb up a little bit and get out of here.
Kevin and Sean Dolan pay Tim no less than $100 per day, but there's no guarantee how long that will last. Tim says he wants to save up to get some temporary housing and a shave. Joel Eisenbaum, KPRC Local 2.
And a shave. Oh.
This is Tim watching the news report from Click 2 Houston last night.
Oh, that is cool.
So, what did you think about it?
That was cool. I thought it was fair, balanced coverage.
Yeah.
And they brought up some interesting questions, and
yeah,
I thought they did a really good job.
Yeah.
And I got a couple of good laughs at it. I smile a lot on that camera.
I know.
They didn't show me smiling once, man.
That's the one thing, but that's again, that's the stereotype
right,
that you sort of have to give people, because I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on, man. We smile too. Yeah. We smile too. We laugh. We joke.
The way it first broke, we had gotten some play the first morning on the radio. And because people driving by had seen it and would call in the radio station. Well, then the TV stations caught wind of it and called and said, we want to interview you at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
For Tim Edwards, 37 years old and homeless, this is one of the good days.
Tonight, I know I'm gonna have something to eat, and I'm gonna be all right.
Tim's new outlook is thanks, he says, to a new job. Really, it's his same job, panhandling, but he now holds a new sign advertising a new website called pimpthisbum.com. The site is all about Tim and solicits donations on his behalf. You can buy him anything from a cheeseburger to laser hair removal to a college education.
We're going to pay him $100, and he gets anything that comes in on the site.
But has this father and son marketing team from Houston crossed the line? Are they exploiting Tim?
I view the situation to be mutually beneficial. I think they're getting help, and I'm getting help.
Tim is less concerned with public image and more concerned about food and shelter. And if a couple of guys want to pay him to do what he already does, well, that's just fine by him.
Of course, that night it ran, and it ran locally, and we thought, wow, that's cool. You know, we're viral. We're thinking Houston viral. We're getting out there viral. Well, he threw that on the national feed. And he even told us that, we throw stuff on the national feed, but we really never expect to get picked up very much.
A reality website is trying to help the homeless.
Well, I think must have played by, at a very high percentage of the affiliates around the country. We got emails the next day. I saw it on Seattle. I saw it on California. I saw it in New York. We're thinking that's a lot of people. Well, it's not. AP, when that story hit, it just started rolling, and we were getting emails and things from Hong Kong, from Australia, from Germany, from France, from Sweden, from, just flooding in. It's like, what is going on? Our purpose wasn't to be funny. Our purpose was to find the tension between funny and ticked off. If we didn't get people calling in saying this is outrageous, this is horrible, we had failed. And there was just enough irritated people that it took wings.
Welcome to my humble abode. This used to be some sort of business. Apparently at some point, but you can't really smell it too much right now, but the stench of urine is pretty strong.
I can smell it.
Apparently it used to be a restaurant at some point.
Right.
So I think this is very ironic. I think this is incredibly ironic. If you're on the street, you don't really have a permanent address. You get moved around a lot. I was in an abandoned building. It was a 2-story building. The walls were all gone. It was just basically a roof and some girders and a floor. That's where the other fellas sleep. That's my worldly goods. Got little books, little pamphlets. Of course, there's the silverware drawer.
Of course.
Hot sauce. Little tiny bottles of hot sauce. Various things of clothing. Lots of clothing.
Tim's bedroom basically was 2 sleeping bags and some cardboard. Tim had a backpack, he had a lighter, he had duct tape, and they had a sense of humor.
So can you go through the bag maybe? Show us kind of what you keep on you as...
Well, I can't give away all my secrets.
He had a sense of humor that didn't die. He was somebody that anyone who spent any time talking to him, I don't care who you were, you got to like him pretty fast. He was a very likable personality.
First summer he was out here, we slept right together. You know, if I had something, he had something. If I ate, he ate. You know what I'm saying? I looked out for him, you know what I'm saying? He looked out for me. He's good people, man. He's good people, basically.
We are not generally a bunch of nutcases.
Not generally, but in this case...
Hey! Get out of here! I mean, we're just like regular Joes. We just have a different grip on life.
Amen.
And not all of us have substance abuse problems. I do. I'll be the first one to admit it. I like my beer, I like my weed, okay? So, other than that, man, I mean, I am out here because I am addicted to traveling. I have a thing called a wanderlust. I can't quit. And so, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Birthday, and God bless America!
Food Not Bombs, it's an organization that feeds the homeless. They're vegetarian and they call themselves anarchists.
Yeah.
But they come down and bring us food, so who am I to complain? We helped each other on the streets. There was a sense of community, and it was nice. It was the first time I ever had a real sense of community. Because a lot of times people live in the same apartment building or in the same street or neighborhood or whatever, and not even know each other's names. Or if they did, they'd just be like a hi, you know, that kind of thing. On the streets, like, we were all in the same boat together, so if one person needed something, odds are you're gonna need something at some point in the future, so help out your fellows, because you're probably gonna need your fellows' help in the future.
I mean, if you're sleeping outside, you face a risk that people who have a warm bed to sleep in don't face. I mean, anybody at any time can basically come and mess with you. You can become a victim of crime just sleeping where you're sleeping every night.
Why didn't you do it? Why didn't I do it?
For one thing, you know, I make $10, $15 a day. Maybe half the time I can make that.
It's not about that. It's not about that. There's some particular reason why you haven't done this. Why I haven't done this.
I'm scared. All through my life, you know. Brick wall, boom. Brick wall, boom. I'm tired of hitting brick walls. It's gonna be something else that's gonna just crush me.
Yeah, I know what it's like, man. You're slamming your head against the wall every time you turn around. Slamming your head against the wall.
I don't want to deal with another run into the damn wall again. You know, I can't do no more. I can't do no more, man.
Yeah, you can. When you see somebody who's fresh to the streets, and you'd see that terror in their eyes. And I don't think I have the words to describe it. I mean, somebody who's never known the streets looking at an indefinite future on the streets, having no idea how to survive.
My assumption of homeless people was, like everybody else, number one, that homelessness was an issue. Homelessness isn't a thing. Homelessness is a symptom. The issues are alcoholism, drugs, depression, medical problems, insanity, criminality. Those are the problems. Homelessness is the symptom.
We got a bunch of people that don't want to have a place to stay. They don't care. Not don't want, I reiterate, not don't want, but don't care if they have a place to stay. They're content with just being out here on the street. This is fine with them. You got others that got problems, drug problems, drinking problems, and are basically sick. You know, this city is a big Greyhound therapy city. It is, Houston is. They send people from everywhere. Quads is kept. They send people from everywhere, so on buses over here, say, this Greyhound therapy, here's a ticket, go to Houston.
In Texas, the way we rehabilitate prisoners is at the end of their 7-year or 8-year or 10-year term, we hand them a $100 bill and we throw them out of the van in the middle of downtown Houston or downtown Dallas, your choice. So we've got a criminal element. We've got a lot of people that are just, they're mentally ill. They're severely mentally ill.
Homeless people, they're just basically sick people going through a lot of changes. I'm a sick person. I'm sick. I got hurt by my family, mother, brother, and so I basically gave up. You know what I'm saying? I just said to hell with it.
Oftentimes people have an idea of the homeless, like it's this group of people who are all cookie cutter, all the same. They're this way. I guess it's just a stereotype. To some degree, it's a prejudice. If God puts it on your heart to help this particular individual, right, because we are particular individuals, I mean, don't go out there and try to help the homeless, because we are not the homeless, we are people.
It's easy to marginalize the homeless because the homeless have no voice. I mean, it's that simple. It's easy to pin things on homeless people because they're not going to say anything back to you. I mean, it's a lot easier to pick on people who essentially can't stick up for themselves. It's a rough position to be in, but, you know, that's one of the negatives of being homeless.
People are warming up a lot now. They're starting to look at me like I'm a human being. Walking down the street to get a cup of coffee and someone hollers out the door, "Pimp this bum, yeah!" And I was like, yeah! You know, just a little bit of recognition. It's kind of fun. It's kind of neat.
In Houston, people can log on, watch streaming video of the man, and donate anything from a cheeseburger to a college education to him. The website is called pimpthisbum.com. Going too far?
Well, I have a big problem with the name of the website.
Pimp This Bum.
Pimp This Bum.
Yeah.
I mean, bum. It's a terrible word. They're not bums.
Exactly.
They're relatives.
At first, it was bird's eye of Tim on the street. Like, this isn't a hoax. It's not a rumor. There's really a homeless guy standing on the street holding the sign right down the street from you, kind of thing. And we have footage of him on day one where he is dancing around with the sign and showing it off to people, and like you'd see almost like a mascot at a football game. I was new to the Ustream software. I wasn't familiar with the program at all. I was using it as a means to broadcast live what was going on. But it has a chat element on it, so people can ask questions to Tim, but have a safe distance at which they could really connect with someone that they would never connect with before.
Sean explained to me what was going on. I'm like, oh, really? We can do that? Okay. Oh, hi. And I'd kind of answer a question, and then they'd say something back, and I'm like, that's really weird.
If you could have your wish, what kind of career would you have?
What kind of career? Oh. That's like asking me, if you were on Jupiter, what kind of house would you build? I mean, it seems a little far away, you know, for me.
Where's your closest relative? Just gotta ask.
My only blood relative that I know of is in California, as far as I know. 58199, what do you think about global warming? Well, I like global warming in the winter, and I hate it during the summer.
Saw this guy who was real, and he was warm, and he was funny, and he was human, and he was a guy that, you know, we've seen a million times and sort of turned our eyes away from, and he's real.
This person chimes in, she's like, "Hi, my name's Melissa, and my whole economics class is watching you right now." So Tim kind of looks up like, "What?" You know, joking around. And he started to sink in that, you know, people are really watching him.
People are out there, and they're following this, and they're checking it out. And that was the first time I think I really realized that there are people out there, that the whole thing was actually kind of working.
His early interviews, you know, he's sitting there, he's smoking a cigarette, he's got a long beard, and his hair's all matted and he's dirty. And he looks broken. In the beginning, he does look broken. But as the weeks go by, as the interviews, as the chats come in, they're drawn to his story. They want to know more about him. They're asking him questions. He's sharing his story. It's therapy for him.
Soberfly, perhaps telling us the past will help you see ahead? It has so far, Soberfly. I don't care if this fails. I'll get up again. I don't plan to lay down and die. When I was on the streets, it felt like people didn't care. People went out of their way to not see me. And through all this, people have generally had just the opposite.
It's changed the way a lot of people see the homeless. Before, I kind of had that mentality, like, why should I help you if you're not gonna help yourself? Why should I give you my last dollar? And as I followed Tim's story, it just opened my eyes. That this stuff, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen from one bad choice. It's a lot of things that happen, and when you hear it, you think, this could happen to anybody.
And I'm not sure that changed my self-image so much as my image of other people. Now I realize that people did care, they just didn't know how to help.
We're all becoming your family. 21744.
21744. We're already all family. Everybody.
So many people have problems that they think are just them, terminally unique, where you're so different, at least you think you're so different, no one can possibly understand, but we really are all very much alike, and so many of us face the same things every day. And just by talking about it with other people, it helps.
I mean, I'm hoping this is helping somebody. I'm hoping.
Stay ready for 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Bright lights early in the morning.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You ready?
I'm terrified now.
A father-son team is generating buzz by promoting a homeless man online. Kevin and Sean Dolan have created pimpthisbum.com, its website, and Tim Edwards is the homeless man who is featured on the site. Tim's in the center of the picture right there, and you've got Kevin to the left and Sean to the right. Guys, thanks for joining us today from Houston.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tim, how long have you been homeless?
I've been homeless since August 19th, 2004.
And you've been living on the street ever since. And when the Dolans came to you, and Kevin, let's start with you. You had this, you and your son Sean had this idea to help him, not exploit him, as some have suggested, but to help him. What'd you tell him?
Yeah.
Going on Fox and Friends. Yeah, actually the night before I was really nervous about it. And I couldn't get to sleep. So in typical alcoholic fashion, to calm my nerves, I would drink. And once I got drinking, it was just, I couldn't stop drinking until I passed out, which was somewhere around an hour and a half before when I had to get up to do the interview.
And we met Tim, and he looked like someone who really wanted to get out of his situation and was willing to commit to try.
Okay, so Sean, what you guys did is you decided to devote this website to helping Tim. And people can go to pimpthisbum.com and buy him a cheeseburger, buy him some clothes, help him with rehab. How's that work?
He was drunk, he was an hour asleep, you know, is all he got. And we went live in front of 700,000 viewers.
Expose, Tim to a large audience. And
I was a little bit nervous because I knew Tim, but I didn't know Tim. And he could have done anything on a live camera.
Now, Tim, how much money have they made for you, and how much of that have you seen yourself?
Well, all the money is still in the account. It's building up in the account, and they pay me $100 a day to go out there and fly the sign, which is a lot more money than I would normally make in a day.
That was a moment where I gave him a lot of trust. I mean, from his perspective, we had a bunch of money going to some account, and he trusted us enough to take care of his daily needs, but he had no ownership of that money.
Now, Tim, when they came up to you and they said, hey, we've got this idea, we're going to pay you $100 a day if you go out and hold this sign that says...
I didn't know where all this was going. I took a chance. I just had to trust. I had to have faith.
Friends, and we were just before they came up, we were talking about how boring and mundane and just day-to-day existence. How and we wanted something different. And well, here they came with something different. And
absolutely.
They came up with the idea, and I just busted out laughing. And then I thought to myself, you know, is this for real? Is this a scam? And that little voice inside me said, it's okay, it's good.
It is good, because you're making money, you are bringing awareness about homelessness, and what about down the pike?
I think that's the best part of it. What you said, I think that's the best part of it, bringing the awareness about homelessness. Because a lot of people, they drive by and they see homeless people and they don't really know what's going on. And some people, you know, they like to stop and ask, but I mean, we're kind of a scary looking group of folks. So,
hey, Steve, one of the biggest problems with homelessness is alcoholism. And there's a company, Sunray Recovery, out of Seattle that stepped up yesterday afternoon. They're taking him for 5 weeks to a rehab facility. Fantastic. And going to fix him up, and then we'll try to see what we can do to stick with him afterwards. So.
If people would like more information in order to check it out, go to pimpthisbum.com if you'd like to help out Tim and the Dolan's Project. Guys, thank you very much for joining us today from the great city of Houston.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
All right. Sunray, that's the name of it?
Yeah, Sunray Recovery. Puget Sound. Tom Blakely, Rich Gallagher.
Never been to Washington.
You haven't? Oh man, it's beautiful. Puget Sound is beautiful.
I was in advanced stage alcoholism. I knew there was something terribly wrong because I couldn't stand up for an hour. I couldn't stand up for 45 minutes. And basically I was dying. I was dying of alcoholism on the streets.
When we met Tim, he was drinking about 640s a day. It would get to the point with these guys that they had to drink in order to keep from getting the shakes.
I would go through DTs on a daily basis. That's how I woke up. It's when your body starts shaking uncontrollably. Your mind starts going through, well, delirium. From withdrawals from alcohol. And then I'd go and get another 40 ounce and try to get the shake off. I had to drink daily just to survive.
I was one of those guys who said, you know, I'm not giving these guys money, they'll just go buy booze. Well, turns out if Tim didn't drink, he could die.
When things are not working like you want them to work, the only avenue you got is to kind of make yourself forget.
We had no background in this, but we thought, you know what, if we're gonna really do this, get this guy from point A to point B here, this alcoholism isn't gonna work. Yeah, the first like 3 to 5 days, 3 to 5, whatever it takes, days you'll be in detox, and you'll be, Sean will be there, there'll be staff there, there's doctors, volunteers will be there. Get you through that. Then there's 5 weeks you're going to be, you know, doing everything from hiking to horseback riding. Keep you busy during the day. There's you know, everything from yoga to, you know, all kinds of stuff just to kind of, you know, get you thinking and stimulating and staying busy during the day. And that goes on for 5 weeks, you know, and they work with you along the way. They've got a full program. So that's it. It starts Monday.
Oh wow.
It's gonna be fun.
How do you feel about that, Tim?
I'm excited, but now that we got an actual date, I'm a little worried. So
anxious or nervous?
A little scared, yeah.
Yeah. What's scary about it?
New way of life, new way of doing things. I was surprised because at that time I somehow had it in my head all I needed was a job and then I wouldn't have to be homeless. And one morning I wake up before the sun and I had a 40 and a half already there because I'd had a fairly good day the day before. So I was sitting there drinking the first 40 of the day, which was to get the shakes off. And I caught a silhouette, just a shadow of my silhouette. And it was me hunched over and a 40 in my hand. And it was very unpleasant. And my first reaction was to take another swig and drink it away. And I thought to myself, no, this is real, look at it. And I didn't turn away. I felt the hope dimming inside of me. And it felt like the light was going out of the world. And I remembered that there was a hope. And I'd turned to this hope before in my life. And I decided to turn to God. And I said, okay, God. He said, if I turn to you, that you will make a way. Well, I'm turning to you now. And I'm putting it in your hands now. And so that it's like that little light stayed.
I think I missed the truck, and I think I missed the boat, but I think this might be my helicopter.
I think at that point, PTB was my helicopter. I think that was probably my last chance. I don't think I had much more time.
I didn't want him to be embarrassed. I wanted him to be less feeling homeless, I guess. I wanted to feel more normal. And as we're buying clothes, I found this white shirt, and I said, this is a nice, just, generic, nice shirt. And he goes, oh, I can't wear that, it'll get dirty. And I kept saying, Tim, you're not on the streets anymore. You're not gonna be sleeping on the streets anymore, you're done. And it was really hard for him to get that concept. He didn't want too much, which I was impressed with that. I said, you want a new backpack? He says, no, I already have one. I said, we really need to get you a manicure. Would you like to get a manicure and a pedicure? And he's like, I don't know. Absolutely no pedicure, he said. So I went in and got him a manicure, and he loved it because they massage your arms and your hands, and he said it just was great.
I promised Johnny the first swipe, so here it is.
The moment we've all been waiting for.
The unmasking of Tim. Who's that man behind the beard?
The night before rehab, I planned it's kind of like a symbolic thing of shaving off my hair.
Look at that, baby. I ain't seen this in years. He's actually got skin under here.
Didn't really get washed that often, so it was pretty nasty. For the sake of the other people at rehab, I figured it was a good idea to get rid of it.
Good luck, Tim. We're all wishing you well from California. It's the eye of the tiger. It's the thrill of the fight.
It is the thrill of the fight.
That's awesome.
I'm back into the fight. I'm tired of laying down. I'm tired of giving up. This life, it's worth fighting for. It's worth fighting for.
And he takes those clippers and he just shears away, not just his hair, but his troubles and his old life. If I hadn't watched him shave his own head, I wouldn't have believed he was the same guy. Because he didn't look like the same person. He didn't look beaten and broken. He looked like he had hope.
My general routine on Sunday morning is to come down the stairs, pick up the paper, fix a cup of coffee, and go to my chair and open the paper. We have an early morning Bible study, so I only have time to scan the front page. And when I opened the paper, there was a small postage-size stamp picture of Tim in the center of the front page of the Dothan Eagle. And I thought, whoa, where did they get a picture of Jimmy Edwards? Jimmy, his father was my brother-in-law. And as I looked a little closer, it had Tim's name under it. And from there, I think I got up and called Deborah. I read the article to her.
She said, I want you to go to pimpthisbum.com. I said, you want me to go where? She said, Tim, I think Jim's son is there. And so I got up and looked at my computer, and at that time they were live streaming quite frequently. And I saw I was taken back because I saw all of our ancestors in his face, and as soon as I saw him and I heard him say one sentence, I knew that he was ours, and that was Tim.
And I get an email from a woman that says,
if Tim was born in Monterey, California, and his mother is Carol,
his father's name is Jim and his brother's name is Stephen, then this is a boy that we've been looking for 30 years. I'm wondering if Tim Edwards is my cousin, Timothy Dale Edwards. His mother divorced Jim Edwards many years ago, and she took the children, making sure Jim and our family were unable to contact their 2 children. Their dad also hired detectives and was unable to find them. Jim Edwards died a few years ago. If Tim is my cousin, I would love to hear from him.
I was startled. It was just, I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
I can't believe this. I can't believe this.
I always knew that I had another side of my family out there. Didn't know who they were. It was quite a shock.
And we started calling the family. I don't even remember if I went to church. I was so excited. I think I went that night.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
He lived with his mother and his grandmother. It was a very ugly divorce. And his father, at least from what he had been told, his father had left them and had abandoned them.
I knew very little of my father. I knew that he left and that he wasn't in contact with us. So I figured he didn't want to be in contact with us. I guess I was angry at him and I didn't want to hear anything about him.
I should have found him. I should have hunted him down and found him before he died.
Before I became homeless, I had some money, but I didn't have a job. So I was seriously considering looking for my dad.
That's a pretty big thing, though. You think your dad.
And I knew the right thing to do would be to just go find him. But I was mad. So when I found out that he had died 2 years ago, and that I'd missed the opportunity to meet him, I really felt horribly guilty. Because if I had gotten over it, I would have had a chance to meet my dad.
It's an indescribable feeling. It's something that I hope nobody has to go through out there. The alcohol in my system is reacting to the medication that they've started me on, and it's absolute hell. It's absolute hell.
California is, they even tell you, don't touch that.
We would not recommend this for your health. So when was the last time you ate dinner at a dinner table? Curious.
Oh, man.
Can you remember?
2001. Do you remember what time I took that last Librium?
I do.
So when's my next Librium?
That's what I'm gonna call Dr.
He's looking forward to it.
No, I'm just shaking pretty bad right now.
It just felt like I was being shredded. Just being constantly beaten. My muscles, my mind, everything.
I can't stop my legs. They're shaking apart. Okay. I need to remember I'm under medical supervision. I'm not actually dying.
You're good, man.
It just feels like I am.
How do you feel this morning, Tim? Second day?
Second day I feel rotten. On one side, my guts are not agreeing with me. In fact, we're having a fight right now.
Who's winning?
The guts are. But I feel a lot better than I would if I was doing this on my own.
He was shaking, and the immediate solution for that feeling was to drink alcohol.
You could definitely see there was a lot of fear on his face. It was really apparent how traumatic this was for him. Just in the aspect of not having our coping mechanism, which was the drugs and the alcohol. When that's taken away and you begin to feel things, there's a lot of times where, emotion, because it couldn't be anesthetized by this alcohol, would overcome people. And there's a lot of people getting extremely angry or extremely depressed, and everyone's in a very volatile spot at that time. I was in treatment, and pretty much what they taught us is everything we knew was wrong. I mean, we tried to live life the way we thought we should live life, and it got us there. So it was time for us to open up and take some suggestions that maybe we needed to look at life in a different way.
Sometimes I'd just be having a terrible day, and I felt like there was no one else I could talk to. And I'd get on there and I'd just kind of share openly, doing my chats. Turns out I'm not the only one who's gone through a lot of the stuff I've gone through. And a lot of the people had family members that their stories didn't end quite so nicely. And my story helped them face their reflection, face their shadow.
There's a woman whose son committed suicide, and she had a really hard time dealing with it. And to have Tim on there and be able to say things like, hey Tim, you need to make your bed, like even as a joke, because he'd be broadcasting with his bed in the background unmade. She'd be like, Tim, you really need to make your bed. And he's like, yeah, okay. And he'd turn around and he'd go make the bed. Even little things like that, she was being able to heal, her issues with losing her son with Tim.
Once you hear about Tim's story and you hear about his life, when you see how hard he's fighting, he's a good hero.
He was kind of instant celebrity style in the rehab world, so to say, I guess. But it helped me just hearing what he had gone through to show me that I might not have been homeless yet. I could see that my path was leading directly to where his path was.
There's tons of people that come through the chat room that have serious problems in life that they're battling with. Watching someone who's absolutely on the bottom being able to crawl out, it pulls them up. It pulls people up.
That was what made it very, very real one day. Someone wrote me while I was in rehab, someone from the chat room, telling me how I helped them. I was like, wow, this isn't just some game or some fun thing, or it's like this really means something to someone besides me. Well, like I said, I get to celebrate this year. Most years I've just been marking, just here, like, well, here's another year that I've wasted and thrown away. And I'm another year further down. I really should have seen this coming, folks. I really should have seen this.
CNN had just started running the story, so there were a lot of new people coming into the chat room. Within the period of his birthday party, I think 5,000 people came in and out.
We wanted to let him know that we were rooting for him. We felt like part of his family, that we were all there together with him.
Yeah, it says HP.
And I know that he felt that all these people were logging on to just check on him. How are you, Tim? And there had been years since anyone had even looked at him like he was a human.
And as it turned out, even the people at Sunrise said, this chat thing has an amazing therapeutic effect. They hadn't ever seen anyone take the sort of jumps and the leaps that they saw from Tim. And that's the only thing they could attribute that to, is that he had this support group of thousands of people. And they said it was just a miracle to watch how fast he went through this.
This is like the best birthday ever, dude.
Yeah.
This is awesome, man.
Yeah.
No problem.
Oh, dude.
Glad to do it. You deserve it.
We were there on his last day. He was standing out on the porch, and he looked at us kind of like we were bugs. And then as soon as I hugged him, and there's just a slight second, and then he hugged me back so deeply, and we just hugged each other, and then he was part of us. He'd accepted that he was part of us.
See, how does it feel to meet your family? Strange. It's kind of unreal. There was always that feeling that something was missing in my life.
It was us.
It wasn't you. And I'm glad to have you guys.
I'm glad to have you too, sweetheart.
Anyways, guys, got to go. Got a plane to catch, and
people see, things to do, places to go.
Folks are these folks here that are my family. I'd like to spend a little more time with them before I go. So, thanks for coming on, and I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow. Signing off from Western Washington State and Sunray for the last time. See you guys later.
New at 10, we introduced you to him when he was becoming an internet star. Well, now he's starting over.
He's just one of thousands of homeless people in Houston. The difference is he became a celebrity for it. KPRC Local 2 reporter Joel Eisenbaum covered this controversial story months ago. And tonight, Joel has an interesting update from West Houston. Joel?
And guys, tonight we were at Highway 6 and the Katy Freeway. This is the spot where 38-year-old Tim Edwards used to live. But he got out, and this is the story of how he did it. It was back in February when we first met Tim Edwards. He was homeless, disheveled, an alcoholic, and quite frankly, near the end of his rope.
Hey guys, how you doing? It's great to see you. See you, man. You look great.
Thank you.
Really do.
This is Tim Edwards today, fresh out of rehab, clean shaven, looking for a job, and he says reborn.
I wake up, I'm excited. I mean, life is something that's bright and good. It's not something to be endured.
Tim is now headed to Nashville. He found out he has family there. He says he is determined to not mess this up, just like he told us when we first met him.
This might be an avenue off the streets. It might be a way that I can climb up a little bit and get out of here.
Sometimes it takes the rain falling on my face for the world to feel real. So sorry, Mr. Sun, and I'm surely glad you've come. When the day is done, it takes a tear.
They told me that they're going to have a party for me and everything, but this is really a party for you guys. Thank you for supporting me, party. Thank you for helping me when I needed a hand. Thank you for reaching out. And thank you for caring. So, let's have a party.
We had a party when he came back to Houston. People came from around the country that had been in the chat room who had become so close to him that they wanted to come see him.
I had to come give support because he's been a true inspiration to me. He's made me want to better myself, and I'll keep it with me forever.
There's a lot of people there, and you know, we're talking, and then you see Tim, and he's standing there, and he's in a suit, and you just want to run to him and hug him, and then you realize you're a complete stranger. He has no idea who you are. I mean, you have followed him, you know, all of these months, and we knew everything about him.
People react to him like he was a star, because they'd seen it for day after day, and then they'd see him in person, and they, you know, you could tell it's like, you know, I can't believe it. I don't even know what to say to him, you know, and he has become a celebrity to a lot of people.
Here were all these people acting like I'm a big deal, and I'm like, hi. Kind of felt like my senior prom in a way, which I'd never gone to. So it felt like this was the makeup prom.
I walked up to him and I shook his hand, and it's nice to meet you. And he was very shy, And he was very humble, very, very humble. I mean, he was just very polite. He took pictures with us, just, you know, like a celebrity. It was wonderful. It was a wonderful party just to celebrate with him what he had been through and his accomplishments.
Sometimes I'm scared because it feels like it could all go away in a blink of an eye. Like it could all fall apart or blow away, or it seems so fragile at times. And other times I'm just overwhelmed with gratitude, I guess. It's kind of like a dream at times still. Still to this day, it's kind of like a dream. You remember when somebody asked, like, oh, what do you hope to get out of this, or whatever? Like, you know, just a normal life. Everyone has said that?
Yeah, you said
Going up to meet this family that he's never really had that much contact with, didn't really know that much about. I was even getting stressed out about it all. It's like, this is a huge deal.
I went back to Kansas City area and met my dad's friend.
I'm Cliff, and I miss his dad. I wish Tim could have known him, but I'm glad I met his son.
I'm told it was his best friend, and he told me some stuff about my dad. And he gave me my dad's old harmonica.
Cliff handed it down to me. It's my dad's harmonica.
He asked Tim, he said, do you know how much your dad cared about you? I was there, when your dad died, and Cliff said your father's last words were to the effect of, I never found the boys. I never found the boys.
It was absolutely like someone coming back from the dead. When he arrived in Independence, Missouri, that's where his Uncle John and Aunt Joanne lived. And all the cousins had come in to meet him, and they were full of life and energy. It probably scared him to death.
My name's Joanne, and I'm Tim Sant.
Got to meet a whole lot of my dad's family.
My name's Don. I'm Tim's cousin.
I mean, I figured there was some, but I didn't know there were that many. I met my dad's brother, the last remaining brother.
I'm John Edwards, and I'm Tim's uncle. I'm very thankful after all these years that I get to see.
Tim turned to me and he said, I always saw families, being families in living rooms and doing the family thing. And he said, this is the first time I was a part of that family.
It's my family. I didn't know I had them, now I have them. It's one of the best things to come out of this. So I hope you enjoy them as much as I do.
And you're not getting rid of us. You're stuck. You're stuck.
Somebody took all the siding off of it.
Looks like they...
Vandalism?
No, it looks like they took it for scrap. Not scrap, but spare parts, whatever you want to call it.
Get out right here?
Huh?
Get
You
out right
want to
here?
get out?
Yeah,
Look around.
definitely.
They left Independence, I believe, and went down to Warrensburg, Missouri, where his Aunt Juanita lives. And she took him out to the farm where his dad lived when he passed away.
It was an old trailer when he bought it, but it was nice. Yep, that was his, and he had good room, and he was happy here.
There's a picture of him standing there. It just brings tears to my eyes that he didn't get to come there while his daddy was alive, but there was something about him standing there that day that I think his dad must know that he's home.
When I saw Tim talk about his dad and his regrets about not knowing his dad, my thought was, you may not have seen him, but you are him. Tim looks like his dad, sounds like his dad, he talks like his dad, and whether they knew it or not, we all are family. They are their dad's sons, and their dad loved them as real as if they had been together.
It sort of was a closure to me for his grandfather and his grandmother and his uncles and his dad especially, that we'd brought him home to the farm.
For 5 years, this was that man's address. But 8 months ago, he left the corner of I-10 and Highway 6. Along the way, he became the face of homelessness around the globe.
The guy who started off the year homeless is now a full-time apprentice at Nickel Pattern in Katy. Tim builds oil field equipment for trade shows.
I get to wake up and try to figure out how I can contribute instead of try to figure out how to get enough money to get by.
Thousands of visitors to Pimp This Bum have watched Tim's transformation.
We had a crazy idea and we tried it. It created a family, so to speak, online through the live video, the live stream.
Tim's new job is only a few miles from the corner where he once lived. His traumatic past seems a world away from his hopes for the future.
A nice, normal, what many people would consider a boring life. Peaceful. A peaceful life.
He looks like a corporate guy, you know what I'm saying? He looks like somebody should be in the office somewhere instead of working in a machine shop. You know what I'm saying? He looks good, man. He looks great. Period.
I didn't really think all this could happen so quickly. I guess it was 8 months ago. I was sitting in an abandoned building.
The guy I know. The guy I know with the beard and the stringy hair and the cat, where is he at? You see him? Huh? That wasn't you, was it?
And 8 months later, a lot's really changed. I'm sitting here in my apartment, a short distance away from my job. Still working on the car, but I mean, I've got more than one set of clothes. I'm sober. I'm hopeful. So even if I am the only one that PTB ever helped get off the streets, maybe it's just to show that you are that important. I'm that important. Everybody is that important. That God would do all that to save one person. But I don't think I'm the only one. I mean, I'm sure that helicopter went on to save other people.
Don't let anything in this world make you straight for what you're doing right now. Because guess what? What you're doing helping me.
Well, even someone as far gone as I was doesn't have to keep going. That there really is hope. Even if you can barely stand up because your liver's all swollen, you don't have a home, you don't have a car, you don't have $10 in your wallet. That there is hope. That there is hope. Don't give up hope.
fate with no hope left on his face and no escape from life's minor chord. No way he could be knowing crazy plan made by the Dolans and all the things his future had in store. Told him to hold a sign displaying our design, and Pimp, this bum was born. Her hand reached into the darkness and pulled the man to the light to show the world he was human. Her hand looked